This is the Empower Podcast. Released November 20th, 2022. Episode 610. Picking a pick-and-place pickiness.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
Stop me, please. Stop me.
From...
No, it's not what we were talking about just before the show. It's from buying a pick-and-place machine.
I knew that was it, yeah.
Right, okay.
Here's the thing, okay. Well, do you actually want me to stop you? Because I'm probably going to encourage you to.
Right. Bastard. Here I am crying out for desperate help.
Yeah, I mean, it benefits me for you to have stuff to talk about that.
Right,
you know?
okay. Yep.
What do you, so what's the thinking? I mean, what's the...
I don't know. I just got the, got the urge yesterday. I thought, look, my content's getting a bit stale. Maybe I just want, freshen up. Maybe I could do
something new.
some new content on pick and place stuff. And maybe I could do like a series. Perhaps, I always plan these things, but they rarely come off. But, the plan would be like maybe do an entire design from design through to actual production, in-house production, Yeah.
Here's the problem. Like, where are you going to put all this stuff?
Where am I going to put it?
Yeah, that's because, I mean, like pick and places, even the small ones aren't that small, Like
they're desktop ones. I'm talking about like a desktop one. I'm not talking about like a...
And that's what I mean. They still take up quite a bit of room. And
they do, but have you seen my clean-in video of my bunker? I've got a lot of bench space in my bunker now. I've got maybe, I don't know, 4 meters of bench space that could easily handle a pick-and-place machine, a thermal oven, a stencil area, all that.
Yeah, you get, we had, Saber was on the show talking about his Vapor Phase, the Vapor Phase 1. Ooh. That's the prosumer vapor phase machine. That's pretty cool. You get one of those too.
How much?
5,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I'd pay for the pick and place machine. So that's a bit pricey for a...
It's definitely pricey. But like, I don't know. Whenever I do, when I do hand pick and place, so this is like why I was excited to talk to him about it. Like, even when I do hand pick and place, the thing that always trips me up is bad reflow. Like, right. I could, if you have good if you have decent paste application, and if you have decent part placement, even hand placement, solder paste takes care of the rest.
Yeah,
but if you have bad profile and like bad
reflow, soldering profile, I just haven't done enough volume in house to sort of, it's always kind of worked for me.
Yeah, like to dial it in, right? Exactly. It's always a fresh. You're always starting fresh, so that's like, it's like you have to figure stuff out at the time of assembly.
And it can change greatly. For those who don't know, the thermal mass of a PCB can change dramatically, whether you've got a 2-layer board, 4-layer board, what the amount of copper on there, the thermal relieves you've got to your pads, and all sorts of, your the thickness of your copper, if you use, 1 ounce or half ounce copper, if you're doing a big power board or something. Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole science to it. I mean, and really, I think the other thing too is that like even when you have a manufacturer engineer that's like figuring out the profile over time, like they're figuring it out over time. They're not like
it's not.
They are going to have a much better shot at it than you or I are going to.
They'll have more knowledge off the top of their head about. Yeah,
exactly.
This
when you're doing multiple runs, you just dial it in. You figure out. You do some test runs, and then you figure out how the profile needs to change, and you dial it in. It's like
we had that once. We were doing a trade show board, and I've done a video on it. It's that weird red shaped board with the curved things. You've probably seen it, and that was like it was supposed to work, right? So we had to. It was actually a proven design, but we just modified it, right? So we modified the board. I actually modified it so it was way thicker. So it was like a 3.5 millimeter thick board or something, right? It was like really thick, right? It was an 8-layer jobby from memory. yeah, just the sheer, like the thicker board and everything else. And I think we had increased copper or something on it. And so, you know, make it look more wanky and industrial kind of thing, because it was going on the trade show stand. Sure. And then we put it through our normal reflow process, or our assembler did put it through the normal reflow process that we did for our near identical board, but was much thinner, and everything tombstoned. All the 0402s, wow. They all tombstoned, and it was like, oh God, we had this dialed in, you know, and then we actually changed the thickness of the board, and, you know, I don't know, we re-poured some, you know, ground planes or something, and no, it just all kamigutsa completely. And had to manually rework all of those, like, you know, hours before the trade show or something. Just, oh God.
So I do want to stay on the pick and place topic, but I do want to say as well that I just gave a talk at SuperCon about the One Engineer Dev Shop, and this portion of it, of like the assembly at home.
Yeah.
I was tempted to not put it in as like a time saver kind of thing. Like, so like the whole talk was about like, oh, well, you know, you can do so much more as a One Engineer Dev Shop. You can do the mechanical, you can do all the design, you know, like all of the stuff that you can do. And the truth is, you can do all this stuff, but I think this stuff slows you down, honestly. I think if you really want to speed it up.
It does. If you're doing in-house,
Yeah, it's not super high. So I think your case is a special case here.
Oh, but my case is totally special.
Yeah, and I think for the most, you know, like when I think about small dev shops or one-person dev shops like myself, like that, most of the time it's low margin work, right?
Yeah, you're better off paying $5 per board and just getting someone to assemble it for you. You know,
totally. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, a lot more than $5 usually, but yeah.
Well, mine was $5. I was paying $5 to get my microcurrent assembled here.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
I usually don't see those kind of prices.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for you, I think you're trying to showcase the process and
exactly. Sort of I'm making content. It's all, you know. Yeah. It's a totally different thing, but.
I remember following an Aussie that was doing some board stuff. I don't know if they were in Sydney though.
But
it was like Home Lab.
Unexpected Maker? Was that Unexpected Maker who had all issues with the Charm High? He had a Charm High pick and place and had no end of problems. Then he switched to Neodon.
Yep.
But I didn't follow what happened after that. But
well, he makes a ton of boards too. That's actually not who I was talking about. This is a dev shop that did some like slightly more industrial type stuff. It wasn't stuff that was like smaller boards. These were like larger boards.
Right.
But I mean, is Unexpected Maker in Sydney or somewhere else?
I don't know where he is, actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. He just got a new factory. I just watched his video before this show, actually.
Congrats.
Yeah, he's got a new, one of those, you know, big roller door industrial, you know, factory kind of spaces, 120 square meters downstairs with an additional floor, you know, one of those mezzanine type floors above. Mm-hmm. So just rented that, and good luck. Yep.
Yeah. So here's my usual thing. Like, I feel like most people that start out saying that they need or want to pick and place, I feel like the duty cycle of like needing a pick and place is quite low. Right. So like,
of course.
You know, like the most,
you use it 5 times a year or something at most.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, you know, you're going to use it more if you have it theoretically, but I feel like it's just like not, you know, you're not starting a manufacturing business. That's the time to really, if you were going to start a small manufacturing shop.
Well, see, I could sell boards. That's another thing, right? I could like, like I'd come up with a little project every now and then and get it assembled and sell a couple hundred of them or something, you know.
Sure,
that's like,
it's interesting. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
You make little IoT things, you know, you get really excited about that.
Right. Yeah. And that makes, no, see, that's the thing. Like if I had it, I might go, I could, you know, I could constantly come up with little project ideas, you know, and then do a small batch run and then, you know, and then sell 100 or 2.
Yeah. You could send stuff out to Patreon backers, stuff like that.
Yeah. Right. Stuff like that. So, you know, I could value add that way. So totally possible.
I don't doubt that you could talk yourself into it. If you really want me to talk you out of it, I will talk you out of it.
Definitely talk myself into it. Yeah.
Well, what are the prices of the things? Obviously, you've done some research on it. So, like, what are we looking at there?
It was the Neodon YY1. This is a new release. I just put it on the Reddit list there.
Okay.
There's an EV blog forum that just came out. They just released it like in July, I think, but people didn't get their hands on it until very recently. So it's brand spanking new. Even the manual.
Have you run your own pick and place before?
Sorry?
Have you ever done that? Have you ever run your own pick and place machine?
No, not as such.
So I run the Neoden 4, and it is some of the worst software I've ever used in my life.
Right.
Like the hardware is not bad.
Right.
But the software is
I've
just
heard that the
abhorrent.
Chinese software, it's all in Chinese or something.
It's all
in Mandarin.
It's not it's Chinese, not Chinese. It's just like bogus Windows software. Right. That's what it really came down to. Like I said, the hardware was okay, but it was really the struggle that I had was like trying to dial it all in, like
all right,
and like the opaqueness of what actually each of the things was. Like I think they'd expect that you maybe have a FAE or someone with knowledge about it. It's just like I personally, I had a really hard time dialing stuff in.
Got it. Yeah.
So,
interesting. Anyway, they have released, you're talking about prices, they have released the new Neoden YY1, and I can send you a link here. Basically under 3K with like 40 feeders.
With the feeders are built in. Yeah.
With the feeders are built in. Yes, they're not removable cassette feeders. They're like, they're built in. But under 3K, right? Yeah. For a dual camera, dual head with automatic tool changer, right? And it supports, shaker tubes as well, and it supports bulk feed-in, bulk placement, and other stuff. It's like, it looks really quite good. So, But once again, yes, there are one or two people on the EV blog forum who now actually have one. And I just watched a video just before this. And like it only supported one fiducial. One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
One.
So like if you're doing a panel, you only get one?
Yeah. So if you only do a panel, you only get one fiducial. So how it knows where the other corner is, it's,
Yeah, that was another problem that I had with. So, like I said, I used the Neoden 4, and it had like the rails. So like I panelized stuff, and then like the calculation between like the panelized version versus the onboard version was like really weird, and I don't know. I'm sure a lot of it was operator error. No doubt about that.
Right.
But
But the main takeaway from his video after he's done a few panels with it is that. It's the like the hardware is quite good, and it works with the one fiducial, and it sort of it seems to work okay, except the tensioners that pull the tape back, they rely on a friction pull, so apparently it doesn't work properly it works fine with paper tape backed reels, but it doesn't work fine with plastic backed reels, which are most of the ones I've seen, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's like a lot of the diodes are in plastic back.
They've got the plastic wrap on top, and apparently it slips and it gets jammed and gets wrapped around itself, and all that sort of But there it is, 20. It's on eBay. Don't even have to go to AliExpress. eBay, $28.99 US. And that includes like 45 feeders, right? It's got two cameras, and it's got like a hood over the top, so it looks quite professional. It looks kind of like low-end professional, which the Neoden brand is. They're sort of like the budget, like they do make big floor standing ones.
Prosumer,
sort of like. It looks like these
feeders are 3D printed. Do you see the 7th image on there? There's like a camera. And then there's feeders next to it.
Yeah, you're right. They do look 3D printed,
FDM.
Don't they? Maybe that's the prototype. Maybe that's the prototype. That's interesting. Yeah, well spotted. It does look 3D printed.
Yeah, I mean 3D printing is cheap to do these days. So.
Anyway, they are a name brand, right? This is a company that I've seen them at the trade show here in Sydney, right? They've even had a stand, right? For
Well, maybe they were targeting you specifically. Like they're just following you around the internet.
But anyway, like it's got automatic tool changer, dual head, dual cameras, and it's $28.99 US. Sure, it's $1,000 postage to Australia, but
What do you think the resale would be? Because I feel like that's the real thing. Is like, can you unload this thing if you wanted to?
Oh yeah, someone would buy it. I've actually got an eBay watch list for pick and place machines. So I
Okay.
I've been watching all the pick and place machines that come up secondhand here in Australia, and they always sell. So they seem to sell for quite decent prices. Like, you can't pick one up cheap. Like, it's pretty rare. So I don't know. So
okay. Well, how about this? So I got to hang out with Stephen Hawes, who does the Lumen pick and place. That is a open source one.
Yeah,
the Lumen pick and place. And
people have asked me this on Twitter. Why don't I just go for one of the open source pick and places? And it's like I don't want to be making videos.
Though.
Oh, assembled.
It's assembled.
Right.
It's assembled.
So. Okay.
So this is a company based. So the design is open source, and then he was showing
this is the Opulo.
Yes, that's right.
Yep. Right. Okay, I didn't know it was called Lumen Pick and Place.
Yeah, the Lumen I think is the name of the actual.
Mike from Mike's Electric Stuff. He chimed in on Twitter and said the Opulo is now, this Lumen Pick and Place is now like the kind of like the best like open source one you can get, but it's like open frame. Like, where the hell? And I asked somebody on Twitter, where the hell are the feeders? Oh, they're in beta. It's like, I don't want to be making videos about.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of like buying a finished or maybe like a prosumer 3D printer versus kind of more a little closer to a print, maybe a little bit, So I think Stephen would probably say that he's trying to be kind of like a Prusa of pick and places, right? So it's still open source, but high quality, that sort of thing. And I think the Prusa stuff in the 3D printing world, I think the Prusa stuff still stacks up as like high quality, high support, so one thing I look at personally when I look at stuff, when I was looking at 3D printers, it was like, look, I don't need the highest end, newest thing, best specs. I need most supported, most community,
most so that reliable. It just works.
Reliable, but I can go and ask a bunch of people, right? I don't want to be searching and run out of forum threads when I run into something. I want to, every time I have a problem, I want someone else to already have figured it out. That's my goal. Totally. That I want to be trailing edge, that sort of thing. I think you won't get that with the Neodem stuff for sure.
Well, no, there's Neodem forums, I think. They're quite
I just mean because it's a newer product. That's all I mean.
Oh no, this one is a brand new product. It's just hit the market, so it's like, I'd be figuring stuff out. Exactly.
Yeah. So, it's just all trade-offs. Yeah. I think one of the other trade-offs that you would have to deal with is that, I think over your layout career, you got accustomed to being able to design super tight tolerance stuff. And I just don't think, but your microcurrent is also not like super tiny stuff. No. I just think you'd have to kind of scale up and do larger scale parts basically.
Oh yeah. No, that's totally, I'm all for that. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I'm still a 0402 only if I have to guy,
Got it. Yeah.
For like any, if I'm doing a commercial design or something, it's a totally different thing, right? But Anyway, this new YY1 is supposed to go down to 0201. So
it doesn't. I always step up one up from where they step up one
because that's
because they're going to give you the specs for that, and it's like they can do it, but you have to sit there and like dial it in and
massage
babysit it.
The damn
Like the Neodem 4 could quote unquote do 0402, but what they're saying is like it has the tolerance to do 0402.
Yes.
Not that it has like absolute repeatability to do it, and not at speed either. So it's like, if you like, click, refactor, get over the camera, really, really dial that thing in. Like, it can all of the tolerances stack up, and you could do an 0402, but you're not gonna have a good time. At all.
See, now look, right? I'm looking at this Opulo one, this Lumen Pick and Place, right?
Sure.
And I'm seeing that it's $1,745 US, right? Yep. That's only $1,000 less than this Neodem YY1. And if you have a look at them side by side, right? There's no contest, right? There's no contest. It looks like a kid's toy, right? Compared to a commercial pick and place machine. And it doesn't have feeders. And it doesn't have feeders.
The thing that you don't see on any of these though is software stack. That is just
I know, but if it doesn't have feeders and it's the same bloody price, then I'm probably I'm willing to live with, tricky to use dicky software, but I mean like right?
Okay. Yeah.
You have to remember 45 feeders, right? 45
I think
the
Lumen is a little too much of it's more kit than you want to do, and that's fine.
Yes,
I think you should
more kit than I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fine.
no, I've basically I still have a light placer open source pick and place machine, which I haven't assembled.
You should just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I can just do videos on how I'm dicking around trying to get that working. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So you want to buy a tool.
Their feeder does look very impressive. They've got this like do-it-yourself feeder design, and it's got all the circuitry on there, and it's got like, presumably like motor in there, motor drive or something.
Yeah. Yep.
It looks really,
Yeah, I mean, Steven does a bunch of YouTube stuff about this stuff, so I'll link that in as well.
But I want to be if I'm going to do this, I want to be doing videos on the viability of a pick and place machine for in-house production rather than doing
small run,
rather than just dicking around trying to get some open source thing and some beta prototype feeders working.
Right.
And
you don't care about the openness so much as the
I don't
result.
care.
That's totally fair. I think that's the design constraint there.
I think my audience would rather see me use a low-end commercial pick and place machine that they could potentially afford for their little garage setup, right? And what are the real results from that, rather than Dave's playing around with this open source pick and place machine, and So, as much as I like it, and hats off to them, it looks
it's great.
Looks great, but it's just I don't think any of the open source designs are for me. So for my particular need. So
then I think we should just push you forward here, Dave. I think you should buy one.
You think I should just buy one and just?
I think so.
See what the pain is, and then if it's too much pain, I just sell it. I just resell it on eBay. Yeah.
I mean, probably it sits in your basement for a while. I mean, I think that's probably the honest thing.
Yep. Well, I would have to I'd have to come up with actual designs and boards first to test.
Yeah, but it's going to take a while to ship, so you could do that between.
I could do it between. Yes.
Right. So if it says it's going to ship probably December.
Come on the slow boat from
2nd,
China. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can get the cheap. No. Oh, that's FedEx. $1,000 for FedEx International Economy.
Nice. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. That's their only option by the looks of it. No, I can have this sucker between the 7th of December and 16th of January, sometime between that date. Yeah. Oh boy.
Well, I do think that this versus jumping into something, if you went and bought a full, what are the quad machine or like one of
or
ones
a Yamaha or something, like an old secondhand Yamaha jobby or something, but they're so huge. That's the problem, and they need like 3-phase power, and they need shop air, factory air, and like it's serious.
Right, you don't want to start a board shop. I think that's the main thing.
No, I just want something that sits on my bench. Yeah, like because I actually have a bunker with a long bench on it, and I want to sit on the bench. And then I'll have that and a thermal oven, have it all set up there, a paste stencil area, and then boop, stencil it, pick and place machine, run it, thermal oven. I don't want some big floor mounted thing.
I'm going to be an enabler then. I say you go for it. Add
you
to
reckon
cart.
I go for it? Okay. Well,
add to cart,
that's what I did a poll on Twitter, and they said 80% of people said go for it.
Yeah.
So, I think everyone just wants to see me in pain. They just want to see me freak out about how fiddly these things are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it could make for fun content. So, yeah.
I find that another thing that always tripped me up when I was doing this. So the reason I had access to the Neo 4 is when I was at M Hub, they had one there.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't remember why they bought. I don't know if I was.
Yeah, I think you said you were the only one who was using it or something.
There were a couple people using it. It wasn't just me. But the stencil, I had a lot of problems with stencils as well. Like, I don't know if it's just like my method or something, but like, you just really need to get things like super, super flat. And I never did it properly. Cause like, especially if I was doing like single boards versus panelized boards. Yeah. And like, so if you could do panelized, it's a little bit easier, but it's still not great. And
you need one of those XY solder paste prototype dispensers.
Oh yeah. You really want to
so that you don't like they're slow as a wet week, but like you don't have to make stencils, you don't have to do anything. You just press the button and go. Yeah. It basically just goes blob, 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 moves the motor, blob, blob, blob. And they're great. I've got a video of one of those on my channel way back. Altium bought one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think for low run prototypes, those are the right move, but they're also like 50 grand. So like,
they're quite pricey. Yeah. I don't think there's any cheap versions available, is there? I don't.
Yeah.
Never followed it, but yeah, I suspect not.
Well, yeah, this is
Assembly.
great, man.
All right,
go for it.
So you want me to?
Maybe I'll ship you some board designs. You can just make some of my stuff if you want.
Right. Okay. I'm sure I'd have no shortage of, like I can always download some open source design and then just run with that, and then just build,
Oh, that's no fun. I mean, I guess at first,
I know.
At first, you're always going to just be doing like the test designs where you're just like putting resistors in a circle.
Yeah, totally. That's it. Yep. Boring as. Anyway, there you go. Well, speaking of PCBs, did you know that mushroom skins are going to replace fiberglass?
Oh, did you point this? Oh my gosh.
This was sent to me by Mrs. EEV Blog. So you can blame Mrs. EEV Blog for
Mrs. EEV Blog, what the hell are you talking about?
I don't know where the hell she got it from, but it's in a day of what and anthropocencemagazine.org or something. Mushroom skins could be the secret.
That's the era we are living in, Dave, is the Anthropocene. The era of humans. By the way, the Anthropocene Reviewed is a John Green book. The Vlogbrothers are like a YouTube channel, and John.
Right. I know of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and John Green wrote this book called The Anthropocene Reviewed, where he just does like Yelp reviews on stuff in the Anthropocene, like geese and Diet Dr. Pepper. It's very enjoyable. I enjoy it. It's a great book. So highly recommended it. Oh, by the way, speaking of books, I finished the book. Did you finish the book yet? Kathy's book?
No. Oh, sorry. Close. No. I'm close. I'm getting close.
I'm already halfway through another book on the grid, man. So you better hurry up. I got stuff to talk to you about with that. Yep. Fantastic book and really good interview. So I enjoyed the heck out of that.
Yep. It's good fun. Totally agree.
Okay, so mushrooms. What the
mushrooms? Hell? Apparently, there are 140,000 tons of electronic waste every single day. Yeah, and this won't go jack towards lowering that. Like, it's like, come on. Like, anyway, they've got these mushroom skins and they mix them with something and they reckon they've soldered on them. And yay, we're going to.
This is the kind of thing where like you had like one grad student who did it. And
exactly.
Like, if we just extended it to
it instantly works straight to Kickstarter, like straight to Start Engine. I'm about to do. In fact, I'm behind the 8 ball on a ton of videos at the moment. I've actually got several half-shot videos, which is quite rare for me. And one of them is going to be, can we do a side tangent here onto Start Engine? Is one of these.
We're nothing if not side tangents, Dave.
I built my channel on it.
That's right.
Yeah, Start Engine, if you don't know, is an equity crowdfunding site. So instead of getting a product you do on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, you buy shares in shares in quote marks, ones that aren't listed anywhere, so you can't sell them to anyone. And I'm looking at. I was just going to do like a debunking video of one thing on Start Engine, and then I'm looking through Start Engine. I'm going, all these are shit. All these tech products on here are absolutely shit. And then I've got a page, some either Wired article or something, which shows the greatest success stories on Start Engine, right? Or something, the biggest equity crowdfunding ones. And it's like, oh yeah, we made 300% return. And it's like, well, 99% of them are going to fail. And the 1% that wins doesn't pay back that much. It's like, you're guaranteed to lose. Do not invest in any of these companies on Start Engine. Just do not do it.
I mean, that's like right on the hairy edge of like what you're actually allowed to quote unquote invest in, like there's
no, because you're deemed to be a professional investor when you invest in these things, which means the laws don't apply, or lesser laws apply.
Well, usually it's like you have to have some like liquidity numbers that are like really insane though, like $10 million liquid or something.
No. The thing about Start Engine is you can invest with like a couple $100.
Oh yeah, I meant in the normal case. Like,
in the normal case, you need like the millions,
which is limiting, and it's a closed garden or walled garden.
Yeah, I think here in Australia it's called a sophisticated investor. If you're deemed, if you've got a couple of $1 million to throw around, you're deemed a sophisticated investor, and that means that you can't sue anyone if they try and con you or something because you should know better, basically. Yeah. The laws are different.
They will try and con you.
Yeah. And I'm looking at all these projects and they're all shit. They've all got 99% chance of failing. It's just.
I mean, you could put one of your future circuit boards on there, Dave. I wouldn't speak out against it too much.
Oh no, it's just bullshit. No, you're buying shares in somebody's. You're just paying somebody's wages for 5 years until the company folds, and then they do another one. That's how it works. And you can make a grift. You can grift for your entire career off this, just starting up companies and getting equity crowdfunding on Start Engine. Yeah. Unbelievable. Anyway, avoid at all costs. Today's advice here on the Amp Hour.
Yes.
We will take donations because we've saved you from all that loss. So we only ask for 1% of the money that you were going to put into all of these scams. Anyway, mushroom PCBs,
I don't. That's no. I think there is room for organics in PCB production, but I don't know. It's probably going to be
there's so many exotic PCB materials these days. There's one for everything. But if you're going to toss it out, like the actual fiberglass resin is the least of your problems. You got all the bloody components and the solder and the the copper and the come on, seriously?
Yeah.
Thinking you can solve the world's problems by I'm just going to replace the FR4. No, dreaming. Tell them they're dreaming.
I think you need to tell your wife she's dreaming.
Yeah. Anyway, she sent it to me because she sends me interesting links if they pop up on her sciencey feed, thing, whatever. Yeah, she's into the sciencey feed stuff. Anyway, I got a heat pump.
Heat pump. We talked about that last time. I'm looking through our list of what else. Yeah, I remember we.
Yeah, but I've actually got it installed.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. How'd the numbers work out?
I have the whiteboard video right here, and it chewed more than I expected. So I'm a bit disappointing. I actually did a whiteboard.
Use more power than you thought?
Yeah. It used more. Yes, it used more energy, not power. It actually used the amount of power which I expected, which is around about 1 kilowatt, but. Energy. Yeah, I did the calculations that it would only take, looking at the whiteboard here, 1.7 kilowatt hours per day. I'm getting 2.5 to 3 kilowatt hours per day. So not quite double, but significantly more than I was expecting.
Longer payback period than that's the net from that.
Yes. Well, no. Actually, the payback period's basically the same. Because we've got so much excess solar energy that it doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. Like, yes, it's using more, which means we potentially have less to sell back to the grid at a pittance, and we have less to store if we get a battery solution, when and if we get a battery solution. But no, it actually doesn't affect the payback period, surprisingly, because we have the excess solar. So it only comes on during the day. Doesn't matter that it takes double, really.
All right, I'm confused. It's because you're replacing the poor power rates being given to you when you're selling back into the grid. That's basically
we're
like
basically
making, quote unquote making money from everything that you're not
7 cents per kilowatt hour, and we're using that instead to
okay, all right.
But I sort of round that down to zero because it's almost a pittance.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
because the whole concept of doing this is to use the excess solar.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
Is it because we want to be kind of self-sufficient kind of thing? We want to, as far as energy goes, and we want to switch off our gas entirely. So
totally, that's great. So this is actually. So I mentioned I'm reading another book about the grid, and I kind of had this kind of in mind, but not really. We've talked about it on the show a little bit too, but I guess I didn't quite realize, just the impact of the kind of the consistent versus kind of the peaky power of wind and solar and stuff like that. And it's interesting reading this book too, because the tone feels kind of like anti-renewables sort of. And it's but it's more from the perspective of the grid operators and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I guess I've never really seen it. I haven't seen it from that perspective before.
Grid operators don't like renewable energy stuff on the grid because they're intermittent. They don't like intermittency.
Yeah, they want consistent.
They want consistency. They want that nuclear power or that coal plant to pump out a consistent amount of power, so then they can, because they've actually developed technique. They know how much power people take during the day on average and stuff like that. So they ramp, You know, they know how to ramp things up and down slowly. But then when all of a sudden, you know, all of your solar vanishes because, you know, you've got a bad day, which you didn't actually predict or something, you know, but they've got to tie, and now they have to tie bloody, you know, forecasts of weather into, you know, weather is not that predictable, you know, it's not that great. Now they have to factor that into their energy calculations, not just use it. You know, on average, people are pretty predictable, right? People go about their daily lives pretty consistently. So they all, you know, come home from work and they switch on their appliances and they flush their toilet and they, you know, it isn't just the power grid, it's the water grid, right? As well, it's the sewage and everything, right? They know people are very, very predictable. And in fact, the sewage system, because this is one of his EEV blog comes from the sewer industry. She's worked on this kind of stuff as a Sydney water scientist. You know, anyway, sewage, right? They know when people are going to flush toilets because it's during the ad breaks, right? It's during the ad breaks, ad breaks of major sporting events, right? If the football grand final's on, they know that capacity is coming during the halftime thing or during an ad break. Yeah, they know it's actually coming, right? And they can actually
because the other thing people are doing when football games are on is drinking beer and eating food that
they can actually predict all this stuff. And so humans are very humans load wise on the power grid are pretty predictable, you know, on a daily cycle basis and weekly.
The interesting thing was that they were giving an example of like, so this is US focused because I don't, it's just the book that I was recommended, but they were giving an example in the Pacific Northwest where there was there's a wind turbine that's in a valley. So like when the wind's blowing really hard, but in May, when the ground is really soaked with water, like everything's just completely soaked with water. And so all the hydro, which is in the area, is also trying to do that, like they're trying to run that and balance the water at the top of the dam versus the bottom. And like they said, like the trade-offs are like, they can't dump the grid power and they can't just shut off the water because it'll overflow and it'll destroy all the towns. And also at the same time, it was like salmon runs. So they couldn't, because of the fishing, they also couldn't like mess with the fishing. It was just like, holy crap, that sounds, it sounds so stressful.
Flows, they're called. Yes, they have to do these environmental flows.
Crazy.
They have to release X amount of water, you know, and they can't do more or less. And, you know,
one is just from it's basically the capacity that they can plan for a lot of it, right? Like they know that the water is going to be high. They know that the fish are running, but like you can't know when the wind's blowing then. And then you think they're also in, you know, another downside is that they're in the Pacific Northwest. So, you know, they're kind of like tucked up in the corner. So it's not like you have the grid going off in all directions. You only have it going off in a couple of directions, you know, a limited number of directions. And so you don't have as many power outlets as well to like, so then you basically are limited by the capacity of the lines going to that location. It's just like, whoa, that'll just overload. It'll just be a bad time. So apparently they called the wind operators and begged them to turn off the turbines. Basically, that was the solution. Spoilers. Sorry.
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you what. I've been changing my thinking on this recently.
Yeah.
I've never been, because we don't have any sort of nuclear power here in Australia, right? And we've got a lot of coal, right? There's a lot of coal, but we've got huge amounts of solar. We've got quite a lot of wind as well. In fact, we've got the largest home solar uptake in the world. I think home solar uptake in the world. I think one of the largest. But we don't have nuclear power here. But I've always been the opinion, years ago, I was like, we can probably all get it from renewables. You know, we've got tons of geothermal, we've got, you know, tidal, we've got everything. And I've gone into the numbers, I've read reports and everything that, we can do this. We can go like 100% renewable energy. And now I'm thinking, I think nuclear is our only way forward. I'm now I've never been anti-nuclear, but it's, you know, because we don't have them and it takes 10 years to ramp up. We don't even have the expertise here in the country. And it's like, you know, it's always been, you know, some far-flung future thing. And I didn't care if we went nuclear, but now I think I'm not seeing a way out of it, really. I think we probably need to bite the bullet and
Yeah, I think
go for nuclear
when you
energy.
think about like base load, right? That's really what it comes down to. Is
That's where the rubber hits the road. Is the nuclear base load, and we've got so much uranium.
The other option is basically to figure out some kind of storage mechanism. And everything I've seen has been like a grid level storage is just like not there.
Well, I thought, thermal salt, salt storage would be big, thermal, I was like 10 years ago, I thought this would be the future, but I'm just seeing them fail. And I'm just, seeing too many problems with the solar and the wind.
I feel like the scale of it is very different than like if you're consuming something like a uranium or like a coal or, petroleum products generally. Like it's just the logistics of transporting like non-active or, active, but not reactive materials at the time of transport is like, that's a lot easier than like building out the scale of like containing thermal, like thermal salts and stuff like that. It's just, it just seems like it's just a really, really tough problem. So I don't see what it is personally. Like I don't know when I think about like the battery bank kind of thing of storage like that.
Yeah, no, the battery storage thing, and that's bullshit. No, it's I meant
good, even like
it's good for short
like pumping water up a hill as a battery kind of concept as well. Like even
dams are great. Dams are great if you have the environmental.
You don't have it,
if you have the environmental thing to do it,
right.
And pumped storage as well. Pumped storage, pumped dam storage, fantastic. But you've got to have the environment to do it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
and
a lot of. At least in the U.S., there's a lot of flat areas, and
same here. You've got to, exactly.
And there's a lot of places without water that are also it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I met at SuperCon. I met one of my friends, longtime friends, was working on fusion. I think I mentioned that on the show before. And
and it's only 20 years away.
Only 20 years away. Yep. But another one was working at fission, but a portable fission company, basically. So like a 1 megawatt generator with like fission built into like a shipping container. And so like
there's a lot of talk about those now.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting.
I think there's a future for that if they can, Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the founder of that is a former coworker of mine of the company that this person was working for. And so I could see if I can get him on the show at some point. He's
cool.
He's a interesting character. I don't even know where you'd start, honestly. Like if you like wanted to start a fission company today, like
right.
Do you have to get permitted? I don't know. Like
I have no idea. You've got to have, some background in the industry. Like it's not like we could just suddenly start it. I think, you've got to have like
maybe
some sort of it's got to be like a spin-off from a university research or something. Maybe. I don't know, something like that. Perhaps. Maybe, I'm not ruling. I'm sure you could if you really wanted to. But I don't know. You have to have something novel, you got to have like a novel nuclear tech and
Yep.
Yeah,
I think the scaled down is probably the potential novelty, that sort of thing.
Oh, they're very useful, especially for emergencies and stuff like that. Like you can just fly in like a shipping container and it powers the whole town. During a flood or some other emergency kind of thing. Yeah, they're very cool. So there is a lot of talk about these modular nuclear reactors, as they call them. Modular, I believe, is the industry term for them. And so anyway, So I thought about trying to run a video on the numbers of nuclear of Australia going nuclear, but it seems to be a lot of work. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mentioned I met these folks at SuperCon. I came back from that that was like last week. Did you happen to see the badge?
I saw it. I didn't see it in action. I saw it in.
It's.
Yes. Okay.
You saw
there it is.
The post about it and stuff like that.
I saw the post, the pre-con version of it.
Yeah. Were they posting about it? Yeah. It was really interesting seeing how people interacted with it. And I was really scared of it at first. So if people don't know, this is basically a 4-bit computer that was, it was actually a PIC-24 in the back, but it was basically emulating like a 4-bit computer that you controlled. And then all of the registered states were shown on the front in LEDs.
I didn't know it used punch cards.
So that's actually the link I sent you was that was actually one of the badge competition hacks.
Ah, right. Somebody did a punch card add-on.
That's right. Yeah.
Nice.
So they put they were
yeah.
because I think they had a separate microcontroller. They had like a separate Cortex M0 that had like a 1 megasample, a multiplexed ADC, and so they used that to like super oversample,
right,
with like LEDs as the detector as well, that sort of thing. So so Zach and Ben built that thing. It was really cool, and that's one of the winning ones.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, the actual badge itself, like there's a whole. I'm hoping they'll sell more of these in the future because, like, if it's just a one and done kind of thing, it'd be kind of a shame.
Maybe I can assemble one with my new pick and place, because that's a classic example of assembling something with a pick and place machine. It's got like zillion LEDs on it.
They did that on site at the design lab where the conference was. So they had been building them for a couple weeks.
Right.
And there are
what machine
LEDs
were they using
on that thing. Yeah. They were using NeoDen 4.
Oh, okay. Right. Yep.
Yeah. So it's really cool though. And so you can go and look at the links are kind of hard to find, but I think it's just hackaday.io/badge. I'll see if I can find the link here. But it was it was really cool. Like I've never really done, honestly, I'd never done assembly before, you know? Like
really?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't need to. So
right.
Why would I?
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. So that was really cool. Oh, it's hackaday.com/badge. If you go to that. And then there's like there's a design guide, or there's a programming guide, and there's a bunch of repositories you can like follow along and look at other people's programs. There's an emulator. There's a
nice.
Yeah. There's just a ton of stuff there. I learned a little bit of assembly.
Huge amount of work's gone into that. Hats off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think because they had it helped that they had 3 years to do this.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. They've been working on it for 3 years. I was going to say, it's it's a significant effort.
Oh, it's very significant. Voya, who designed the badge, has been working on it a long time.
Right.
Mike, my current coworker, worked on some of the emulator stuff. There's multiple people that were working on.
Oh yeah, it says example in the article, it goes back to 2019. Holy crap!
Yeah, because this was supposed to be the 2020 badge.
Oh, okay, and then
pushed.
Yeah, then COVID.
So it was done, I think, in 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So definitely worth reading about. It's really neat. It's really neat. And I mean, what was your exposure to assembly? I mean, you must have had to do it back in the day, right?
Yeah, I've done 8086 assembly. I've done Z80 assembly. I've done PIC assembly. I've done TI, some TI, MSP, not MSP 430s, some TI DSP 320.
Oh yeah,
assembly and yep. Haven't done it for a long time.
Affinity for it, or no?
I've done a video showing
some people
like
feel affinity for it, and
no, I've got no affinity for it. Like, no, not really. No, like I do. I think I would still enjoy it if I'm just doing something like some little tight loop that I need to, do. Mm-hmm. I think I would still get joy out of writing, because you can do mixed assembly in C now, right?
Sure, yeah.
So you can just write a little, just write a little routine that you've like hand optimized, kind of thing. So I could still appreciate that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But writing an entire thing in assembly, it's like silly.
Yeah. So I will also link in the badge hack contest, which was the end of the weekend. So basically, people work on this thing all weekend, and then they participate in the badge hack contest. Keen eyes will see a familiar face on there with a joke entry. So
okay.
It was a lot of fun though. It was good.
Awesome.
Good weekend. Good conference.
Excellent. Oh, so it was over the whole weekend, was it? Yeah.
It's like a Friday to Sunday kind of thing.
Okay. Right.
And
got it.
It was just, like amazing to be back with people again too, right? I mean, like this was the first. I'd been back to a conference before, but not like a, hacker conference of this crowd, and
right.
these
awesome. Yep.
These are our people, Dave. These are our people. Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we have on our list this week?
Let's try and have a SuperCon Australia.
SuperCon Australia. Okay, I'll start it up. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And 10 people will show up. Yeah.
You'll get some people. It's just, not fun to run something like that.
Yeah, no, I know. like it's okay doing a meetup or something like that, but if you have to organize a conference with events and, speakers and chairs and things,
So the chairs are the hard part. Yeah.
Oh boy. No. Maybe I should get off my art. Who else is going to do it? Right? Who else in this country is going to do it?
I'm not going to do it.
Oh boy. No, I would have to tee up a lot of people, it'd have to be like a lot of people sort of like willing to go in on something like that to make it happen,
Totally.
So,
yep.
Cool.
All right. What else on the list? You had started in on that. I don't know what else is on that list. We've had a unmanaged, one of our patron saint of adding stuff to the list has been great about adding stuff, but I haven't been great about reading stuff, like usual.
What has Ben Eder done on the RS-232?
Basically reviewed the entire how it works. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I have had your speakers turned on for this entire time.
Like I've been coming out of the speakers?
Yep, you've been coming out of the speakers. I've been listening through my earbuds, but apparently it's been coming out on the speakers as well because I forgot to turn them off because my stupid monitor, the bloody Focusrite bullshit USB interface thing does not mute the speakers when you plug in the damn earbuds. Like my Rode one.
Sounds like there's an electronics project right there.
I know. I've already gone through this. I have an entire EV blog forum thread about it somewhere. And yes, one of these days I'm going to get pissed off enough and I'm going to design my own USB audio microphone speakery interface.
Yeah, the problem is that when you make your own board for that sort of thing, nobody to blame but yourself.
Exactly. But in fact, we've talked about this on the Amp Hour before, how this product doesn't exist. The exact product I want does not exist.
Yeah. And it'd probably be pretty simple as well, right? It's like mostly just like a physical disconnect.
It's mostly off the shelf. Like I wouldn't have to write any firmware for it. It'd all be off the shelf.
Yeah.
Like you buy a Cirrus Logic USB audio interface and the drivers are all there and it just does its thing, So it's, So I probably wouldn't even have to write any firmware for it, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, could all be like analogy goodness, It's got like a phantom voltage generator. It's got a microphone amp. It's got a knob for volume control. It's got a jack, which you detect, and then you switch off the bloody audio outputs, which isn't much, and then have a compander, a compressor expander thing for, all that sort of jazz. And I have like a bar graph, like a VU meter and stuff like that, Yeah. Jeez. If only I could design electronics projects. If only I had the
that is not the limiting factor. You know it.
No, it's time. It's totally not that I lack the skills to do it. It's Oh boy.
So here's an interesting thing that was posted on the subreddit. The WCH. So WCH is a Chinese silicon vendor that's been putting out cheap and wild and wonderful parts. There was one where there was a crap ton of UARTs. I remember seeing something like that. It had 10 UARTs or something like that. I was like, why do you have that? It's super specialized. Okay, yeah. But now, this is a Hackster article from a sub 10 cent RISC-V microcontroller.
Show me.
And it actually has more pins. It has more pins. Hold please. It has more pins than what was that one that you talked about, the 3 cent microcontroller?
Yes, the Padauk.
Padauk, yeah.
Yeah.
So this looks a lot more like, this kind of looks like it's kind of trying to clone like a STM32 F030 sort of.
Right.
Like that's kind of the style of part that it looks like to me. But
I'm going to have to do a video on this. Holy shit. Because my 3 cent microcontroller video, that was hugely popular. People loved that. Yeah. And I did like a series of it. I did like 5 videos or something on that.
And that was pin limited, right? That was like
well, you can get ones from 5-pin SOT 23, 6-pin SOT 23 up to, a SOT 28 or something.
Oh, it did go up to that high.
Yeah,
okay, I thought it was all sub 10 pin.
Oh, no. You could get versions that went higher. Yeah. And
so,
but
I mean, this is
the $1 million really question is, what is the development environment like?
Yeah, I mean, it's so there's a GCC. It's not GCC. Is it GCC? Yeah, yes, it is. It's because there's like the ARM-None EABI.
Right. Yeah, like but does it have its own GUI? Right? Does it what does it tie into? Like,
no. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, you have to roll your own, right? And sort of.
Yeah, but it's the sort of thing where, like, if you were say you were comfortable in a what's it called environment, like an Eclipse environment, and you had that set up, it's not going to be like vendor provided.
Yeah.
But if you had an Eclipse setup, you basically would like go into the Eclipse configuration and you would point it at a different GCC version,
right?
And it would be similar. It's not going to be perfect.
No, but
it would be very similar. And it's like, I was very surprised that the first time I saw that happen. I'm like, oh wow, it's just like you just change the compiler and it's
and you target a different device. Yeah, it's just all the other stuff which goes into setting up all the IOs and doing all the other stuff,
configuration, and like all of the nice stuff that happens in like configurators, and like people are used to like STM32 cube and stuff like that. It's like, no, you ain't getting that. You're gonna be getting twiddling some registers,
some registers in your header file to get you.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so 16K cool. flash, 2K SRAM, right. Like. Not a ton of stuff, but still, like,
I think I'm going to order one of these, and I'm going to do a thing. Do they have like a programmer? How do you program can you buy because the thing with the Padauk one is that you can buy an actual programmer for it, right? So you can put the chip into the ZIF socket and you can program the chip, or you can order them pre-programmed from the manufacturer.
I mean, if I had to guess, I would guess it has like an SW clock, like a single wire debug kind of thing. That's how most of these things go. And then if you have a J-Link, it's just like, oh, I know what this is,
Yeah. So you solder it to your board unprogrammed, and then you have to have the header on there to program the thing.
That is a good question, though.
Which is kind of annoying for some products. You just don't want to do that. You just want to order it. See, the reason you use the microchip PIC 10 series, or you use the 3-cent Padauk one or something like that, is because you can order it direct from the manufacturer. You just give them your hex file, and in comes the reel of pre-programmed chips, right? They've got some magic automated production reel programmer or something, and they, and it doesn't cost you much more. You can order them from DigiKey programmed.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? It's like, that's like the, That is a benefit. You don't have to dick around putting a header connector on your board and then programming each one and designing your test jig to, program your pain in the ass. Order them pre-programmed on the reel. That's what you want.
So it looks like there is a programmer, but the programmer honestly looks like it's just a USB to serial. So I'm guessing there's a serial bootloader on there with like maybe a special pin that pulls down, and then you.
Well, I've gone to the website and it's all. Oh no, it just automatically translated to English for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's a link to the Tindy seller. So the Tindy seller has like a programmer.
Oh, okay.
That's what they link to in the Hackster post. Yeah, it's interesting, low cost. I mean, like, it's interesting that they're. I like now that we've reached. I feel like 3 cents is kind of the bottom.
It's pretty much the bottom.
but now that we've reached the bottom, and now that RISC-V is like even less IP in there, like there's actually like a pretty well developed. There's a ISA that's open source, and there's processors that are targeting that ISA that are low cost or very no royalty, like going to ARM sort of thing. It's just like now this stuff is like down in the dirt as well. Like 32-bit processors this cheap is just it's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. What does it work at? 48 meg? Yeah. Is it single? I can't remember. Is the RISC-V, is it single cycle instruction? So do you get 48 MIPS from 48 megahertz?
I don't know if that would matter I don't know if the standard would say anything about that, right? That would probably be more specific to the to the not because remember the RISC-V defines the instruction set, not the implementation.
Defines the instruction set, not how they implement it. Yeah, right.
That's
okay.
Right. Yeah. So it would come down to how they architect it.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I'm guessing somewhere in the data sheet says that.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, anyways, this WCH as well is like it's just I just keep seeing more and more interesting parts pop out. They had a Bluetooth. They had a BLE part that was also really interesting and RISC-V based. And, I just feel like there's, this is kind of I feel like, especially with all the restrictions that the US is putting on China chip making and stuff like that, and like IP transfers and whatever, I just feel like RISC-V is happening everywhere, right? Like I think I mentioned
it happened much quicker than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's going to all the major chip companies. I think they're going to adopt it, no doubt. I think, just ARM has a lot of sway still, and they have a lot of stuff in flight already. That why would you cancel that if you've already paid for it, sort of thing?
Yeah.
And you've paying, and there's just a lot of expertise there. So like, I just think that's going to go on for a good long time. However, I think in stuff coming out of China, I think we're going to see tons and tons of RISC-V stuff, and it's just going to be really interesting. So I think that people that are understand how the tool chains work and how to like, how to access stuff like this, like super low cost, pretty interesting looking parts. You're just going to see more and more capable stuff coming out of China, I feel like. And so I think if you're good at the firmware stuff and comfortable in the RISC-V ecosystem, and like understand some of the stuff under the hood, I think you're going to be really well prepared for all of the cool hardware coming out of China in that way.
Yep. Totally. This looks really good. I'm going to order one of these straight after this, and I'm going to get some chips.
First chip that can go onto your pick and place, Dave.
Right. Yeah. I can have this flash in like 1,000 LEDs or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right.
The CH32V003.
Chip of the week.
Chip of the week. Yeah. The thing we haven't tried yet. Maybe we'll wait until you get it in hand, and then it'll be chip of the week.
Yeah, right. Well, one of the things I like about it off the bat is that it works at both 3.3 and 5 volts.
And 5, yeah,
which
that is
nice. There's a lot of stuff which doesn't work on 5 volts
less.
anymore, and that's like,
that's right.
It's like a pain in the ass for some things. So it's got a 10-bit ADC. It's got no DAC.
I wouldn't expect. I feel like you don't see a DAC until you're up in the 50 cent plus.
It's got a DMA
and even
controller.
then it's 80.
It's got some op-amp comparators. That's handy. How many PWMs? Does it have any PWMs? Doesn't have any PWMs, really? Unless that's part of the timer. That might be part of the...
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah. There's only 2 timers, though, right?
Yeah, there's only one 16-bit advanced timer, one 16-bit general purpose timer. So there's 2 16-bits jobbies, and there's 2 watchdog timers, one 32-bit system time-based timer. Yeah, but there's no PWM, so that's a bit disappointing. Unless you can get one of the 16-bit advanced timers, I'm sure could possibly
I bet
be.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I might have a new low-cost thing because I can just picture the clickbait now, 5 cent RISC micro.
5 for 5. The 5 for 5.
Yeah. Right. Oh boy. Yep. Where's the site that actually sells the bare chips though?
The bare chips? I don't know.
Can you buy a reel of these things?
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Sample. You can just get sample requests.
Probably somewhere on wch.cn.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And I think you could probably go onto AliExpress and find stuff like this too.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. All right. Interesting. I shall do it. Well, our amp hour is up.
It is. I'm gonna go watch Twitter burn down. We'll see if and when that happens.
All right. I bet Chris before the show that it's not going to burn down. That doesn't mean it can't go down for a day.
How many parts of these do you think? How many of these things do you think would be in a reel? Do you think there'd be 1,000 parts in a reel for 10-cent parts? I could bet you a reel of CH32V003s.
Well, it depends if you're getting the SOP 8 or you're getting the SOP 16.
That's good. Maybe. How about that though? I'll bet you 1,000 of these parts.
You'll bet me a reel. You'll bet me a reel of RISC-V processors.
No, we have to be very specific. That could get very expensive. I will bet you $100. How about we just say it like that?
$100. $100.
Go towards whichever RISC-V processors you would like.
$100. How long does Twitter have to go down for before you win? How many days continuous that no one can use it?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Because I'm totally with it that it could go down. I've seen Twitter go down before, right? It's not the first time, right? So
Fail is in the pipe.
I figure a day is not enough. I figure a day is not enough.
I'm saying the whole shebang. So
you're saying the whole shebang.
I'm saying the whole shebang.
Okay, done. It's a bet.
That Twitter is sold for parts.
Twitter is sold for parts.
Yeah.
You think Musk will sell it? So if either of these things happen, you win. If Twitter just vanishes and nobody can use it anymore, it's gone, or Musk sells it. Oh.
I feel like there's something else where it's it's still there, but it's in zombie mode. So if everybody, I don't know how to quantify that. Though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's kind of just
nobody goes there anymore because it's just a bunch of spam. It's just
that is not going to happen.
Crypto spam sort of thing.
I'm saying that's not going to happen.
You don't think that's going to happen?
I think no. Twitter would literally have to stop working before people stop using it.
I think that's a possibility, Dave.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will put a line in the sand that within 2 months. Within 2 months, there will be a major exodus of Twitter or some other
Twitter users, you mean?
Twitter users as a result, yeah.
As in everyone we follow, a good majority of people we follow just are gone.
Just gonski.
Gonski. Yeah. All right.
Because of that's and I think that's enough right there. So we should put a number on it so it's measurable.
It's hard.
That's tough.
Yeah, I know. Tough. I know it's hard. I'm sure we'll know it if we see it, right? It's
that's the kind of thing. Yeah.
Can we have kind of a handshake agreement that it's kind of we'll know it when we see it?
I think we'll know it when we see it. Okay. So let's just say the 2 month mark.
Okay.
So we're going to reevaluate in 2 months.
Twitter's going to Kamagutsa. If it's Kamagutsa or not.
Middle of January, Twitter's Kamagutsa. Yes or no? We could do a vote somewhere.
I am voting no because there's nowhere else for people to go.
Will not.
There's nowhere else and no, Mastodon's not an option.
I don't know where I'm going to go, Dave. I'll tell you that much. I'm not. Oh no, I'm not doing this joyously. This is all gallows humor.
If it did go down, I don't know where I'd go either because I'm totally addicted to Twitter. Right? Yeah. That's why I'm saying people aren't going to leave.
You might be right.
Wheels would have to be falling off the billy cart before people would leave because there's no other option. There's nowhere else to go. Where are you going to go? Facebook?
No, God, no.
Right?
What am
exactly.
I? 70?
That's right. Right? There is no other option. That's why people are so addicted to this thing. It is the social media
of people that are addicted to it. Like I talked to my wife about it. She's just like, why don't you just stop using it? I was like, no.
Literally half of the media is stories about what's happening on Twitter every day.
Yeah, and most people are like, so what? I'm not on Twitter. But probably most people listening to this are like, all right, Dave and Chris are just off on this thing. They're not going to shut up about it. So sorry, we're addicted. What can we say? We're junkies.
2 months, Twitter Kamagutsa.
Yes.
All right.
Or if it is not Kamagutsa, then I owe you $100 worth of RISC-V parts.
All right. Done.
All right. See you then.
Catch you next time.